Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something really cool. So it's very cloudy today and we're gonna be shooting the Olympus OMG in this very cloudy environment. So it's very diffused, very muted tones. We have a lot of trees around us, but I have my friend here, Trevor, and a model, Kira, and we're gonna be taking photos today. Now I'm shooting on 35mm film, but in the past, I've always shot on like Portra, and under cloudy environments like this, it always comes out looking too purple or orange, and I just absolutely don't like how it looks. So I did a lot of research, and everything that I found told me to shoot on this Kodak Ultramax. And you know, I'm shot halfway through the roll. I'm at 26 exposures I've already taken, and I'm excited to see how this looks. But I went into my local film store today and asked, hey, do you guys have any more of this Ultramax? And they said no. But they said that another really good film for this type of lighting would be this Fujifilm 200. And so we're gonna shoot both of these today and see how this looks. So I'm gonna finish off this roll right here of the Ultramax, and we're gonna go and shoot this Fujifilm. And they did tell me ahead of time that this has more green tones. So we're gonna put these two to the test and see which one looks a little better. So anyways, we have a river here behind me. We have Kira, we have Trevor. We have this wonderful light that doesn't connect to my camera, but we're gonna see what we can get today. So let's get shooting. Yeah, that was really nice. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
That looks so good.
So we moved into the water. We're doing some shots here. I just finished up shooting my Ultramax. I'm really excited to see how these turn out. We switched over to the Fujifilm. I'm a little nervous because it is getting darker, and so I'm having to do longer exposures, and I'm just worried about the light. Trevor is shooting right here with his speed light, and then he's also got his Hasselblad X2D2, so he's getting some killer shots, but I'm just excited to hopefully get something, you know, usable.
It is very cold. Very cold.
You bundled in a jacket. We got a lot of water. It's cold. How long have you been in the water?
Oh, a bit.
Maybe 2 minutes.
Probably like
time,
40
right?
minutes at
Like
least,
40
if maybe an
minutes?
hour.
Yep.
So Kira was like complaining the whole time.
It's not that cold. She's fine.
And like I got in and like with my hand, it really wasn't even cold.
So I just finished up the photo shoot, and I'm really excited to see how some of my photos turned out. We just finished the last roll of film. It is incredibly dark. Like I'm using, basically, this is called a modeling light right now. So I look probably really yellow and like really dim, but right behind me, it's like pitch black. I mean, it's pretty dark. But what I'm trying to get at is when you're shooting a low ISO film, especially at night, you have to have it on a tripod and you have to be using a remote trigger. And my remote trigger got pretty damaged last time I used it. So I'm a little worried that some of my photos just didn't turn out because the remote trigger, I'd go to take the photo and I'd have to push extra hard to get it to like trigger. And I felt like there was a lot of movement within my camera. So, I mean, when you're doing longer exposures, like a second long, I feel like I'm just really worried about the quality of those photos being sharp and as sharp as they can be, because the whole point of having a remote trigger is so that way I don't have to be touching the camera. So we'll see how some of the shots turn out, but ultimately that was a really fun shoot. I mean, it was something new for me to experience of like shooting in the water, shooting around the water, and I actually didn't even have to get in the water. All of the shots I really wanted, I was able to get from outside of the water. So I was pretty happy with that. My friend actually, he got in the water, Trevor, and he got some stunning shots that I just absolutely love, and I hope that some of my film photos come even remotely close.
So we did get our photos back, and I'm looking through a lot of these and I'm realizing, you know, I do actually really like how a lot of these are turning out. I'm looking at some of these photos and the skin tones. I mean, this is my friend Trevor here, and some of the skin tones here are just phenomenal. And it's really cool to see this. Like, this is the very first photo in the roll, but like this film burn is just insane. Like, I mean, to see all like the little hair fragments are really cool. But his skin tones, I mean, this is a cloudy day. He looks a little yellow. But overall, I mean, like, he was also backlit, so it did handle the shading really well. And I think that, like, from a natural skin tone point of view, I don't think it's a bad look. So, like, this photo is a really good example. So this is another photo of my friend Trevor, and, like, he has his Hasselblad, and you can see the back screen of it, it's completely blown out. Like that's where the sun is directly hitting his camera. But like if you look at his skin tone, that's what I was really exposing for, is his face. And you can see where it's like it's not too dark, not too shadowy. It's a little shadowy, but not too not, you know, overly shadowy. And behind him, even though he's backlit, it does look really nice. Like you have some really good color coming from the greens over there. You still see the green in his car. It doesn't look too much, like it's not giving you too much vibrant color. But it, you know, it really is giving like this really nice, natural, muted look. So me and Trevor were shooting at this cemetery. This is Glenwood Cemetery. I think it's up near Park City, Utah. And I mean, if you look at this photo, this is very, very close to what it actually looked like on the day. And so, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like, this is very, very natural looking from like what, you know, it actually looked like. It didn't shift the colors a ton. It didn't make it look super purple or super like orange or anything crazy. And so like, I do really think like this did look really nice. And ultimately, I think it's handling really well so far. Now, this one's a little bit overexposed, just by a hair. We are up in the mountains. This is in an area, I think this is Provo River Falls. I think that was where we were at. If I remember correctly, that's where we were at. But yeah, this is kind of a cool little area here. It's just kind of like a little trail where there's like some waterfalls. And we spent a little bit of time here shooting this roll. So I mean, his skin tones still look pretty natural. He's a little bit blown out, but overall, like the color in this image doesn't look too, you know, Ultramaxy, like normal. I feel like a lot of the time I shoot Ultramax, I just get like these wild colors that end up looking very, very different, in my opinion, than like what, you know, true to life looks like. So I actually think like this did handle very, very well. So if I'm looking at this photo I really like. So if you look at it, I mean, it does have kind of more of a green shift. Now, with this Ultramax, like I have noticed that there's a lot more color that normally pops from Ultramax, but I really think like this does feel very true to how it was on this day. I mean, we had the sun just hitting golden hour. You can see on the right upper side of the frame, like you can see that little lens flare coming through. I mean, it really was like that time of the day where it's just like we're getting all of that light. We're like, this was very, very dark, and so like I'm boosting my camera, and like honestly, I gotta say, like I think this actually ended up looking pretty good for what it was, and I think that the colors look pretty darn natural. Okay, so this is our model Kira, and we have her laying against this tree. Now, this is literally in like a mountain range. There's like no light coming in. We're really pushing this camera to its ability. And honestly, I have to say, I feel like she looks really yellow. Like I feel like there's such a yellow cast here. So this is something I'm noticing with this film a little bit once we started doing the shoot with Kira. Now, the ISO was set properly. Everything was shot properly. I'm looking at this now and I'm like, okay, this feels like a little bit blown out, which could be a big part of the issue. But it just felt very yellow to how it was truly on that day. So maybe there's a little bit of a yellow shift happening here, but you know, I just try to give it the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, maybe it's this area, maybe it's the way that the technician, you know, when they scan my film, maybe they colored this differently. Like there is a possibility that it's just that. So we're just going to keep looking through these and I'll see if I see anything else that's crazy that pops out. Here's one of the water shots when we first got Kira into the water, and I felt like this had a very green tone to it, and like this felt overly green. Now I do think, again, like this is one of those things that you could probably throw into Lightroom. I don't normally edit my film just because I feel like I feel like it's really hard to push my film, you know, in an editing program, and I feel like I feel like it takes away some of the trueness to how it really was shot. And so like I'm not like a film purist. I think like if you want to crop your photos, if you want to change the white balance a little bit, you want to make a little minor edits, I don't think that's like, nothing's wrong with that. But what bugs me is like when somebody like completely changes an image just because they want to make something really cool, and they do something called compositing, and they really heavily like shift an image from what it truly looked like when it was taken. And I just think like if you change how it was taken, it doesn't feel like the same piece of art to me. But this truly was like the photo, and this was what it looked like. You know, like the water was not this green. You know, the water was a lot clearer than this. So there's definitely like a green cast here. Also, if you look in the trees behind her, there is definitely some like shade going on, and it felt like just maybe this was a really struggling image. But overall, I felt like, you know, this film really did handle well given the environment. So this is the Fujifilm, and right off the bat, I mean, you have this image right here, which is just very dark and green shifted and vignetted, and this shot right here, which is exposed a little bit brighter. And I mean, the green shift kind of goes away a little bit. There's a little bit here still, but the water did handle really, really well. This image just looks super, super moody and super blue. I don't hate this image. I just feel like this is a weird image. Like, it feels very blue, purple, magenta, like feeling to it, but very green. I don't I don't know how to feel about it. It feels very green and blue. But I feel like I just don't know how to feel about that image, because like from going from this image right here to this image just feels like such a wild jump for one roll of film. So I'm like really shocked that this is the image we got, because out of most of the other images, like this image is the same, has that moodiness. This image is more moodiness, you know, it's like that's more moodiness. That's very, very moody. That has like a purple coming through. This we used a flash on, so she looks like lit properly, which I wish I could use a flash on all my photos. I had my friend Trevor have his speedlight flash mounted, and we set our camera settings to the same settings, and then we triggered them at the same time and just prayed, and it actually turned out looking like really, really good. But still has like this really weird like shift, and this is a phenomenal photo. Like, I love the long exposure of the water behind Kira. I love the lighting of her. I love that it feels like it was taken at a correct like shutter speed. Like, this feels like a very, very well composed photo from like a technology standpoint. I wish that there was a few things like that I did differently with my model, and I wish that there was a few things that I did different with the framing. And ultimately, like, if I could have taken more shots with the speed light, because I don't have a trigger, I think I could have had some really cool photos here. But ultimately, we're just talking about how this handled under cloudiness, and I just felt like the shift of color between a few of these different frames just felt very inconsistent. Now on this shot, same roll of film looks very, very, very warm, and I don't know what's going on. Like, this feels very warm and very, you know, orange and green and yellow, and it's very, very like vibrant in certain aspects, and so it's like very, very warm, and I don't know exactly why it's doing that, but it is. And so to have a roll of film jump so much back and forth, it's just kind of like, you know, it feels like more a hit or miss on like what you're really trying to achieve with a photo. And I think like overall, if you only had this film to shoot under a cloudy day, I don't think it's a bad film for a cloudy day. You know, I don't feel like this shifted the colors so much that it became like an unusable photo. I don't think that it shifted the colors so much to where it's like you look at it and you go, ah, like that was not the right film stock. Like, I don't think it's like one of those things where you really broke the image. I just feel like it hits the mark a little differently than the other film does, and I'm not really biased to these films either. That's the thing, is like I really did want to give both of these films a good shot, and I just feel like even though the other film has more grain, I felt like this felt more green, and so I don't like that. This photo is one of my favorite photos that I took on this roll. It has still a very green and yellow and like a very muddy texture to it, but I really do like it, and maybe I will throw this into Lightroom at some point and just play with it and see what I can push it to. But I generally try to not do that if I don't have to, but I think like for this, like this could be a really cool photo as long as they just adjust a few of the, like tweak a little bit of the settings, like the highlights, bring those highlights down, bring the contrast a hair up. If I can change that midpoint just a hair, if I could get like a little bit more of the saturation to probably a little bit, add a little bit of saturation, but just ever so slightly, you know, like there's little things that I would think to change about this image. But ultimately love this image.
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to see more, and comment, because I would love to see what you'd love me to review next. Thank you all so much for watching this, and I will see you guys next time.